December 26th, 2018. So there's another update with Jaziel Carrera, the 26-year-old mayor of Fall River, Massachusetts, who was arrested in October. He is facing federal fraud charges. He's pictured here with Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts as well. So Carrera's been facing these fraud charges since October. There's been a lot of calls for him to resign, to step down as mayor amid this indictment, these charges that he's facing. Earlier this week, they had given him a deadline. Earlier in the month, they'd given him a deadline. This was on pressure from councilors in the city asking the mayor to step down. Today, he's announcing that he refuses to resign. This Democrat mayor is facing serious federal fraud charges. This is one of the reports from October where they outline the charges that he was facing at the time, and he's gotten in more legal trouble since then. Even just a couple weeks after he was arrested, there was additional misconduct that was revealed as well, specifically from the actual indictment in October. I did a video on this, but just a quick recap. They said that Carrera was arrested and charged with defrauding investors, using funds to pay for a lavish lifestyle and his political campaign as well. From the indictment, they said starting in approximately January 2013 and continuing until at least in or about May of 2017, Carrera perpetrated a scheme to defraud Snow Owl investors. Snow Owl is the fraudulent organization that he was running for this investment scheme, the mayor. So he was defrauding investors of Snow Owl by making false representations and diverting a significant portion of the investors' funds to himself while neglecting the development of the company to focus on his political career. Of the approximately $363,600 Carrera received from the 7 individual Snow Owl investors, he used at least $231,400, approximately 64% of all the money that had been invested, to fund his own lavish lifestyle, his burgeoning political career, and the needs of his other business ventures. And they talk about some of the things that he spent money on. Specifically, it says that he set up regular payments to be withdrawn from the Snow Owl bank account for his personal school loans, a car loan, dating service as well, and also his own campaign. Carrera concealed the existence of Snow Owl, of the company. He hid it entirely from the IRS on his 2013 and 2014 tax returns. After local media first reported that an investigation was taking place in April 2017, he prepared revised tax returns for 2013 and 2014. However, these tax returns continued to be false, still contained a lot of false info, and they said this is not about poor accounting or honest mistake. There's no way to interpret this as poor accounting or an honest mistake. This is criminal. So that's what they were saying early October. And then just a couple of weeks after that, and this actually, it looked like this was being set up just before the arrest. This investigation had started before then, at least. They learned later in October, the public had learned that Friends of Jaziel Carrera Legal Defense Fund failed to report over $16,000 in donations as well. State Campaign Finance Agency had said 2 days before he was arrested on federal wire and tax fraud charges, Fall River Mayor Jaziel Carrera was brought under fire by another agency, the Massachusetts Office of Campaign and Political Finance. Letter dated October 9th, the director wrote that Carrera had failed to disclose $16,000 in donations to his legal defense fund. Mayor had not disclosed that amount in his April donation report. The letter sent to the mayor's criminal lawyer said that the Friends of Jaziel Carrera Legal Defense Fund was reviewed after the State Campaign Finance Agency received a complaint that money was being used inappropriately. Complaint alleged that Carrera used money in the fund to defend a personal legal matter. And they go into more detail there. They also in this article link to the actual full indictment, but this is the most recent update now. On December 18th, they were saying that this 5-day deadline, which is now today, was coming for Correa to resign under the threat of legal action. Fall River councillors on Tuesday authorized the city clerk to notify the mayor, a Democrat, accused of federal fraud charges, that he has 5 days to resign or he faces a recall election. So it looks like this is what is going to happen after today, now that this deadline is passed, and Correa has announced that he will not resign. Embattled Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa has announced that he will not step down ahead of Wednesday's 5 p.m. deadline imposed by the city council. So he's confirming this today. This decision, they say, is expected to trigger a recall election. Correa posted the letter to the city council on Twitter, along with a message saying, "Letter to the council, we are in campaign mode." In a letter, he says, "The decision to resign or not to resign is not solely my decision. The answer to this question rests with the people of our city," he says. City council voted unanimously on December 18th to inform the mayor that he had 5 days to resign or face a recall election. The letter concludes, "It is because of my strong belief that the choice rests with the people of our city that I ask the public once again to reaffirm their vote for me," says the mayor. An attorney representing Jaziel delivered a letter to the group during the December 18th meeting saying that they don't have the authority to take this action. "We are not going to be intimidated by these tactics," said one counselor while holding up the letter. "This is really turning into a circus," she said. Counselors added, "Here's another threat from the mayor through a new attorney trying to get this council not to take action. This is an exact reason I personally signed the recall petition. This is ridiculous." There's another article I had pulled up, I don't have on hand here, but saying that he could possibly, the mayor, use some of his campaign funds, that he had previously accumulated, that he still had available for fighting this recall election as well. So councilors complaining that the mayor is threatening them here with this new attorney trying to get the council not to take action, they said. The article just adds that Correa was charged with tax and wire fraud back in October. Prosecutors say that he used investments in a company he formed to fund a lavish lifestyle. Correa has said that the only way that he would be removed from office would be through a recall. More than 4,500 signatures were obtained by organizers, nearly double what's required for a recall. Correa has alleged that some of the signatures aren't valid, so he's trying to do everything that he can to even fight this recall election. At the same time, he's saying that the people should have a choice. He's obviously just trying to save his own position here, but he's kind of arguing two separate things in doing so. That's his exact letter back to council, refusing to resign. He has not been very forward about the case recently as well. Here's another more recent article just from earlier this month where he had one court hearing and he wouldn't talk about whether he would even attend or not. He said, "I may or may not." Fall River Mayor won't say whether he'll attend hearing in criminal case, which is from December 5th. So a pretty recent update. He's still continuing to put the charges aside. I mean, he's still yet to be decided what happens to him exactly in court, but this is a distraction, obviously. I mean, that's one reason that people are calling for the mayor to step down. This would obviously hurt his ability to do what he's required to as mayor, and he has these court dates, one that he was technically not required to attend, but again, he was not being very forward about what he was going to be doing. He said, "Fall River Mayor Jaziel Correa has a city to run and the federal criminal indictment to fight. Since his arrest mid-October on charges of defrauding investors who backed his tech startup, Snow Owl, the 26-year-old, has refused to relinquish power or discuss the criminal allegations in detail. So how can he properly do? How can he argue that he's still able to do his job uh, as mayor, even if he does claim to be innocent? I mean, from what I've seen of the evidence against him, it does seem pretty strong. But if he continues to make that claim, even obviously, it's still going to impact his role as mayor. This is an example here. He's not giving any details about these federal court dates, declined to say whether he will even attend a hearing in federal court in Boston earlier this month. You'll see on Thursday, he said when reached by phone earlier in the week, I may not attend court. One of the mayor's lawyers said that Correa isn't required to attend the session Thursday morning and said the mayor won't be there. The hearing before the magistrate judge, Mary Page Kelly, is intended to plot out routine legal and scheduling matters. He said another lawyer for the mayor notified the court Tuesday that he was withdrawing from the case. Records show he didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Fall River's Board of Election Commissioners is in the process of reviewing 5,845 signatures that had been submitted in mid-November by a group seeking to recall Correa. So that was earlier this month. He is going to be facing this new election. Continue to follow this as details continue to come out, and of course he's going to continue with his battle with this in court as well. So any details that happen related to that, I will follow up on as well. I do have a link to my Patreon account in the video description, patreon.com/realityreader. Thanks everybody that supported the channel, this channel through there. I also have a PayPal link and the link to the original article you can look at. Look at that, tell me what you think, and I will follow up soon. Thanks everyone.